Welcome, Focus Me, to this deep dive, where we're tackling one of the biggest and, most frustrating global challenges: food waste.
It is a staggering problem.
Yeah.
We're talking about 1.3 billion tons of food being thrown away globally.
1 billion tons.
And that costs the world nearly $1 trillion a year. And, we often think about our own kitchens or grocery stores.
Right.
But the tourism sector, think about those huge resort buffets, the cruise ships. It's a colossal contributor to that waste.
Exactly. So today, we aren't just talking about, better composting. We are getting straight down to the psychological core of it.
The real why.
Yeah, the why. What actually needs to happen in a tourist's mind to get them to stop wasting food?
And our mission today is to analyze some really cutting-edge research on this. Our deep dive is anchored in a 2024 academic article.
Okay, what is it?
It's called How Tourists' Negative and Positive Emotions Motivate Their Intentions to Reduce Food Waste. It's from the Journal of Sustainable Tourism.
A really important source for this kind of work. The researchers are Syed Fazal-e-Hasana, Gary Mortimer, Hormoz Ahmadic, Mohammed Abid, Omar Farooquee, and Alireza Amrollahi.
Quite a team. And what they did, basically, is they used surveys and experiments to test how certain negative emotions, how they interact with one really critical positive emotion, which they identified as hope, to actually get a tourist to intend to change their behavior.
Okay, let's unpack that. So in simple terms, we all know negative feelings are involved. Nobody feels good about being wasteful.
Right.
But this research is based on a theory that says those negative feelings are just the start. They're like the initial trigger.
They get your attention.
They get your attention. But if you want someone to stick with a goal for the long term, you have to bring in positive emotions. You have to make them believe the goal is actually reachable.
And what's so unique here is that this was the very first study to test this emotional interplay in, the high-stakes, high-waste world of tourism.
So let's define the two negative feelings they focus on, because I think people mix them up. First, you have guilt. Guilt is what you feel after an intentional act. It's when you consciously pile your plate high at the buffet, knowing deep down you're not going to finish it. You're violating a social norm.
And then there's the other one, regret. Regret is different. It's that near-miss feeling. It's for unintentional waste.
Like when you misjudged how hungry you were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or you took a bite of something and it was just awful. You wasted it. But in hindsight, you think, I should have acted differently. Regret is about what you could have done.
Okay, so if these negative feelings are so powerful, why do we always hear that guilt-tripping people doesn't work? That's a $940 billion problem. Why isn't guilt enough?
Because negative emotions on their own often just lead to a dead end. If you only bombard people with guilt or fear, they tend to just shut down.
You get defensive.
Totally.
Yeah.
You get defensive or you go into denial. You don't change the behavior. You just find a way to stop feeling that unpleasant emotion.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because you need that positive counterweight. You need hope.
That's the catalyst. Hope is what takes that, I messed up feeling and turns it into an actual plan to do better next time.
And they define hope as having two parts, right? Willpower and, what was it?
Willpower and pathway. So the motivation to change and then the actual concrete plan for how to do it.
The source used a great analogy for this.
It's perfect. Think of guilt and regret as the warning lights on your car's dashboard.
Okay.
They're blinking, signaling that you're causing damage, either financial cost or environmental harm. The signal is critical. But if that's all you see, you might just panic.
Or just put a piece of tape over the light.
Exactly. You avoid it. Hope, they say, is the GPS. It's the navigational system that gives you the roadmap and the confidence, the willpower to actually change course and get to your destination.
That is such a fantastic way to put it. Okay, so what did the results actually show? How did these emotions connect?
Well, they found a really clear, really strong causal link between regret and hope. Tourists who felt regret over unintentional waste also felt significantly more hopeful about being able to reduce that waste next time.
But what about guilt? The big one.
This is the really radical part of the finding. The link between guilt and hope was not supported. It just wasn't there in the final model.
Wait, I have to challenge that a bit. Guilt powers so much social messaging, climate change, charity drives. So are you saying a resort should actually try to make tourists feel less guilty? That just sounds wrong.
It sounds counterintuitive, I know, but the theory explains it so well. Guilt is tied to past. intentional harm.
Right.
So if I feel guilty about overfilling my plate, my brain immediately looks for an excuse to make the feeling go away. I'll think, oh, the hotel probably composts this anyway, or, well, their portion sizes are ridiculous, it's not my fault.
So guilt encourages you to make excuses.
Precisely. It's so focused on the past harm that it fails to generate a forward-looking plan. But regret is about an unintentional mistake, a near miss, something you can learn from.
So it's future-oriented.
Exactly. It's the perfect fuel for hope. Regret makes you think, okay, how can I do better next time? Which leads you right to looking for the willpower and the pathway to do it.
That is a key distinction, intentional versus unintentional. So to understand this better, the researchers actually identified different types of tourists, right? Like profiles.
Yes. They used a special kind of analysis to find these configurations. It gives us 4 very distinct personalities you'll see standing in the food line.
Let's walk through them. Who's the first type?
Profile 1 is the conscious tourist. These people are aware of everything, the cost, the harm, the social norms.
Okay.
And they feel guilt because their waste was probably intentional. But here's the kicker. They lack hope.
So they're stuck, they feel bad, they know they should change, but they just don't see a way to do it.
They're in that awareness loop, just spinning. Then you have profile 2, the harmless tourists.
I call these the eyes bigger than their stomach people.
That's a great way to put it. They recognize the cost of the waste, but not necessarily the environmental harm. They feel regret because it was unintentional. And because of that, they do have hope they can fix it next time.
Makes sense. Who's next?
Third is the ideal profile, the moral tourists. For them, the biggest driver is the harm and the guilt, even more than the financial cost.
So they're the fully activated ones.
Yes, they feel guilt, they feel regret, and they feel hope. They're motivated by everything and believe that reducing waste is an attainable goal.
And finally, number 4.
The thrifty tourists. This one's simple. They're defined almost entirely by perceived cost.
It's all about the money.
It's all about the money. They're not really thinking about the planet or social norms. Their motivation is saving money or just not wasting what they paid for. Self-interest, basically.
And the really big takeaway from looking at all 4 of those profiles
is that perceived cost was everywhere. It showed up as a key factor in every single profile except the moral tourists. It shows that while, yes, ethics are powerful, you should never underestimate the power of the pocketbook.
Which leads us right into what a hotel manager or a cruise line director should actually do with this information.
Precisely. The core implication is that the tourism industry has to stop with the one-dimensional messaging. The guilt trips, the fear, it's not enough. They have to leverage this interplay between negative awareness and positive hope.
So facilitate that will and way process you mentioned. What's strategy number 1?
Inspire hope. It's that simple. Instead of just focusing on the negatives, campaigns need to provide messages that build up both willpower and provide clear pathways.
So instead of a sign that just says, food waste is killing our planet,
Right.
it should be something more positive and action-oriented, like planning your meals helps you to reduce your food waste. Or maybe we can prevent food waste. Let's save our resources and feed more people.
You're reframing it. It's a solvable problem, and you, the tourist, have the power to help solve it.
Okay, strategy 2.
Facilitate goal attainment. Managers need to give tourists tangible, visible ways to hit that goal. This provides the crucial pathway, part of hope.
So give me an example. What does that look like at a buffet?
It could be really simple things, offering smaller plates, displaying pictures of what a reasonable portion size looks like, maybe even a chart on the wall that tracks the hotel's collective progress on waste reduction that week.
You're giving them a target and the tools to hit it. I like that. What's the third one?
Personalized cost. Since cost is a huge motivator for 3 of the 4 profiles, you have to make that cost feel real.
Not just some abstract number.
Exactly. Imagine a sign at a small family-owned hotel that reads, "We're a small family business. Please help us reduce food waste so we can continue to offer amazing vacation experiences."
Oh, that's powerful. It connects your actions directly to a local human outcome.
It makes the thrifty tourist care, and it definitely activates the moral tourist. It's so much better than just a generic warning.
Definitely. And the last one.
Focus on social connection. The research suggests that you need to stimulate hope that's tied to a collective goal. Waste is a shared problem, so tackling it together feels more hopeful.
So simple messaging like, together we can reduce food waste.
Or, join our mission for 0 waste this week. It reinforces that this is a community effort, which creates hope for a shared positive outcome.
So to pull this all together, what we've learned is that getting tourists to reduce food waste is really this will and way process.
It is. It's driven by these three key emotions. Guilt and regret are the alarms. They make us aware of the damage. But it's hope, that combination of motivation and a clear plan, that actually gives us the power to achieve the goal.
And, this research was about tourism, but those 4 profiles, the conscious, the harmless, the moral, and the thrifty, that's really just 4 ways we all react to waste in our own lives. So as you go about your week, think about this. Which type of tourist are you when you're at the buffet or even just clearing out your fridge at home? And now that you know about the power of hope, what is the single tangible pathway you can identify today to make that change stick?
A fantastic question to end on. And a huge thank you to the researchers, Syed Mohammed, Fazal-e-Hasana, Gary Mortimer, Hormoz Ahmadic, Mohammed Abid, Omar Farooquee, and Alireza Amrollahi for giving us this roadmap. And thanks everyone for listening and expanding your minds with Focus Me. Thank you.